Former AEW star Brandi Rhodes has hit out on social media at fans who suggested that Cody Rhodes should have stayed with All Elite Wrestling and suggested that he wouldn't become a bigger star in WWE after Rhodes appeared at the Night of Champions press conference in Saudi Arabia earlier today. An update on the Collision ticket sales for the premiere episode at the United Center coming up later next month. Also an update when it comes to what is going on with the brand split / roster split between Collision and AEW Dynamite. MJF reportedly wrote the storyline for the Four Pillars heading into Double or Nothing this weekend. An update on Sabu's future with AEW. Also an update on Sting, his future with All Elite Wrestling, as retirement could be coming later on this year. Tony Khan has opened up on NXT Battleground, going head-to-head with the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view this weekend. Adam Cole gives an update on Kyle O'Reilly as he recovers from neck surgery. Several AEW stars could be set to miss the Forbidden Door pay-per-view later on this year. The full participant list for the Blackjack Battle Royale at Double or Nothing has been revealed. We've got the ratings for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite. Plus, Mercedes Moné may have signed a longer contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And could the AEW Women's World Championship match be in jeopardy at Double or Nothing this weekend? Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. And let's start off talking about Brandi Rhodes, talking about former AEW Executive Vice President Cody Rhodes, and certainly a comment on social media that you know is going to get the people talking, the tribalism up once again, WWE versus AEW. After Cody Rhodes received a thunderous crowd reaction in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at the WWE Night of Champions press conference, Brandi Rhodes, his wife, sounded off on Twitter. Well, perhaps it is time to put one Cody Rhodes related discourse to bed, at least according to his wife, Brandi Rhodes, after Cody made a thrilling appearance in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, delighting fans who eagerly sang along to his theme song and gave him a thunderous reaction. His wife, Brandi, had thoughts, taking to Twitter to write, quote, "And some people still say he should have stayed where he was, ... Maybe we should let that one go for now," with several emojis afterwards. Now, the American Nightmare has certainly made the most of his time since returning to WWE, becoming quite the international nightmare as of late, performing in front of jubilant crowds across the globe. This Saturday's upcoming premium live event Night of Champions marks Rhodes' first appearance in front of a premium live event crowd in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. At the press conference of Night of Champions, Triple H addressed how he could justify allowing Rhodes to compete in a match against Brock Lesnar with reportedly a broken arm. But the big question is Brandi Rhodes right with what she was saying? Is she right to tweet that out? Is she just going to be fanning the flames of the tribalism between WWE and AEW fans? Or is she right to suggest that Cody Rhodes was right for leaving AEW to go back to WWE? Is he a bigger star in World Wrestling Entertainment than he ever would have been in AEW? As always, I know you guys are going to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Really interested to know what you guys think about Brandi Rhodes' comments about her husband. Now, AEW Collision, one of the biggest talking points in AEW right now, particularly when it surrounds CM Punk, with the debut episode of AEW Collision confirmed to be taking place in Chicago. Initial ticket sale numbers have now been revealed. Although CM Punk has not been confirmed for the June 17 show, all indications are suggesting that the newest entry in AEW's television slate will see the return of the absent star, with fans no doubt eager to see what Tony Khan has to offer in Chicago. Details of the initial ticket sales have now emerged. Writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer states that, quote, "They had 4,234 tickets out at the United Center in the pre-sale the next day. Because it was such a short turnaround, a number that on paper sounds disappointing, but probably shouldn't be viewed as anything significant until after the public on sale on May 26th and maybe at the end of the weekend. I don't know that anyone expected an instant sellout like in 2021 for Punk's return, with the playbook of never mentioning his name, but with the word of mouth going around. At least for the first day, they tried that playbook again. It wasn't going to be the reaction of the first time, but we should wait until next week to judge what it means. For Chicago, the usual rule of thumb would be to run the Wintrust Arena for shows that would draw 7,000 or less, most TVs. Now Arena for 9,000 to 10,000 run as the traditional all-out arena, and because the United Center is so expensive, it shouldn't be run unless you are looking at probably 12,000 or more. WWE runs the All-State Arena, which holds around 12,000, and they can sell that out for television and pay-per-view, but still don't move to the United Center because of the long-standing relationship and cost effectiveness. Advertising for AEW Collision has now started, with some of the top stars for the show in the first release promotional artwork, including Samoa Joe, Miro, and Thunder Rosa. before June 17. However, there's plenty to watch from AEW, including this Sunday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So certainly when it comes to the ticket sales, it's difficult to judge right now. I think a better indication of how well this premiere episode, without the advertisement of CM Punk, even though the assumption is that he'll be there. So how well the tickets are performing, that'll probably come at the end of the weekend, but we'll have to wait and see again until official numbers, or at least reported numbers, come out. Now, when it comes to AEW Collision, it's led to a lot of people saying, well, what's going on with the television deal with AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery rather. Now, AEW is set to officially launch its Collision show on June 17, which will be the third piece of AEW programming to air on Warner Bros. Discovery stations. Ahead of the announcement of AEW Collision at the Warner Bros. Upfronts, rumors had emerged that the company had reached a new television rights deal with WBD. No new deal for AEW had been announced at the upfronts, and we now have some clarification on their television deal. In an update from yesterday's AEW Double or Nothing media call, Tony Khan was asked by Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics about the deal and how the inclusion of Collision would affect it. Khan confirmed that the length of the company's deal with Warner Bros. Discovery remains the same, and that AEW Collision has been added to the company's current deal with WBD, which expires in either 2023 or 2024. Khan did not mention whether or not the addition of Collision to the deal means more payment for the company, which had been previously reported by Fightful. So Tony Khan remaining pretty quiet when it comes to the actual television deal, but there are rumors that could be set to be announced later on this year. Again, Warner Bros. Discovery does have the option to extend it to an extra year until 2024, which again might be the case. Now, what about the roster split? Possibly stars appearing exclusively on Collision and stars appearing exclusively on AEW Dynamite, with just really the champions and a few notable exceptions jumping from between both shows. Now, there's been rumours about possibly splitting up the AEW roster between shows since plans to debut the promotion's weekly newest show, AEW Collision, were first leaked earlier this year. While it's been a topic of debate among many fans online, it appears there's a debate about whether or not to implement a brand split backstage at AEW as well. In this week's edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, pro wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer reported that the debate over a brand split happens almost daily amongst those running AEW. Meltzer said he's heard it changes every day and will continue to change until the show is on the air, likely even changing depending on how successful the new Saturday night program becomes. AEW owner Tony Khan was asked about the possibility of a brand split during Thursday afternoon's media call ahead of this weekend's Double or Nothing event. Khan was non-committal about an AEW brand split and deflected on the answer, quote, "We want to build that curiosity and get people wondering exactly what you're asking. What's the future of the AEW roster and what does this all mean forward after Double or Nothing," Khan said when asked about the potential split. Now, Fightful Select reported last week that many members of the AEW roster are expecting a firm brand split, meaning which wrestlers appear on which AEW television shows each week will be a definitive exclusive kind of agreement, except for a few minor exceptions, the report said. AEW's new Collision program is set to debut, as I mentioned, on June 17 at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, where all signs point towards CM Punk making his long-awaited return to the company. Now, speaking of Double or Nothing this weekend, of course, the main event for the show is expected to be this Four Pillars AEW World Championship match. Now, after 4 years of establishing them as rising stars in the promotion, this Sunday's AEW Double or Nothing will see the Four Pillars of AEW, MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry battle over the AEW World Championship. The build to the Double or Nothing main event has received both praise and criticism heading into the event. However, a new report has revealed who has been the driving force creatively for the entire program. Per Bodyslam.net, sources inside AEW have relayed that the creative person responsible for writing the entire Four Pillars World title program has been none other than the AEW World Champion himself, MJF. This report follows another recent report that indicated the backstage names who currently help AEW President Tony Khan with creative, which included a note that top stars such as Maxwell Jacob Friedman have a great deal of input on their storylines. MJF heads into this year's AEW Double or Nothing in a completely different position than he did heading into last year's show. Friedman had a tremendous amount of controversy heading into Double or Nothing 2022 after reports circulated that he had no-showed the Fan Fest prior to the event, leaving many to question his his future with the company. This later led to MJF being removed from AEW programming and taken off the road following his promo on the Dynamite after the pay-per-view until his return at All Out 2022 last September. So MJF reportedly has been writing this entire storyline. Now, a big story heading into Double or Nothing weekend is Sabu's debut with AEW. The latest AEW surprise debut took place on this week's episode of Dynamite when ECW legend Sabu made an appearance in Las Vegas. Sabu is set to serve as a special enforcer for the Chris Jericho vs. Adam Cole unsanctioned match at this Sunday's Double or Nothing event. Following Sabu's appearance, fans wondered whether we would be seeing more of him on AEW programming going forward. Speaking at the AEW Double or Nothing media call, Tony Khan was asked about Sabu's status with AEW. Khan said that Sabu's appearance at Double or Nothing will likely be a one-off at Double or Nothing, but kept the door open for more additional appearances if everything goes well. Khan also noted that he got a text from his father about Sabu being a blast from the past, as his dad took him to see Sabu versus Chris Jericho in ECW when he was just 13 years old. Now, another name, a legendary name in AEW, is the icon Sting. And Sting's status and future of AEW has been something that many have been debating for certainly the last several months. Sting made his return to AEW television in April of this year with a promo that saw him drop big names and take issue with MJF's comments about Darby Allin, with his last AEW Dynamite match being in March 2023, where he would team with Allin and Orange Cassidy to face Kip Sabian and the Butcher and the Blade. Sting's presence in the AEW ring has been sporadic, with the star likely being used as a featured player by Tony Khan. As reported by PW Insider, Khan addressed his plans for Sting in the recent Double or Nothing media call, saying that he would keep the icon active as long as he wants to wrestle. He would go on to say that Sting brings a lot to the company across a range of aspects and that Sting is also a great person. Khan would reveal that when Sting eventually wants to have his last match, he wants to make it a big event due to the significance of the moment to the wrestling world. He doesn't envisage using Sting's retirement for short-term gain, as he is a great asset to the company. Of course, with Darby Allin in the main event of Double or Nothing alongside the other pillars of AEW, Khan would also note that Allin, Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy Jack Perry and MJF were not known on a national scale when they started in AEW, but working with the likes of Sting, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes and others had helped elevate them to their current level of recognition. He would note that the Four Pillars match for MJF's AEW World Championship was the biggest match of all time for the talent involved. So Khan being quite non-committal when it comes to Sting's future, suggesting that as long as he wants to wrestle, he's going to wrestle, but not spilling the beans on if there are any actual definitive plans for Sting to retire later this year or anything like that. Now, obviously this weekend it's AEW Double or Nothing, but on the same night is NXT Battleground. Now, AEW Double or Nothing and NXT Battleground both take place on the same day of Memorial Day weekend, and Tony Khan has addressed this move. During the NXT Battleground media call, Shawn Michaels had described the decision to run the latest major NXT show on the same day as AEW as a big coincidence. With WWE Night of Champions on Saturday night, Michaels also said it would give WWE fans a big weekend by having the NXT show on the Sunday. Tony Khan was also involved in a media call for AEW Double or Nothing on Thursday and commented on the decision by saying, quote, "I've been that feeling from day one since we launched the TV show. It actually probably changed a little bit on April 14, 2021, and now with this, it feels like the old days in some ways. I'm always very eager to compete in whatever arena I am in." When AEW Dynamite launched, it went head-to-head, of course, with NXT on a weekly basis until NXT moved to Tuesday nights in April 2021. Khan would go on to discuss competition in wrestling before touching upon running directly against each other, stating, quote, "I really love the competition in pro wrestling as long as it's done with some ethical standards. People running events at some similar times, I don't know if that's necessarily ethical. I don't have a big problem with it. I wish everybody the best, and I expect we will do the best show on Sunday. I think there will be a big audience for AEW Double or Nothing. Certainly the spirit of competition is something we've dealt with since the launch of AEW, and I've never really had any problem with it as long as it's an ethical competition, and I don't think it has always been coming from the other side." Tony Khan had previously said there was a real war between AEW and WWE based on what others have come to him and alleged. With both shows taking place on Sunday, wrestling fans are spoiled for choice, but certainly people will make their decisions either way. So do you think that AEW and WWE have always acted ethically when it comes to running their shows at similar times? Let me know your thoughts as always in the comment section below. Now, Adam Cole has given an update on Kyle O'Reilly. Some thought when Adam Cole was talking about having someone in his corner at Double or Nothing, he was talking about Kyle O'Reilly. In fact, he was talking about Sabu. But Adam Cole shared an update on Kyle O'Reilly ahead of Cole's major match at Double or Nothing. At this Sunday's pay-per-view, Adam Cole will face off against Chris Jericho in an unsanctioned match, while the former ECW World Heavyweight Champion Sabu will be involved with the match as an enforcer. Many have speculated that Kyle O'Reilly will play a role in this bout. Speaking on the Barstool Wrestling podcast, Adam Cole noted that O'Reilly is on the right track and that he wants to return sooner rather than later, especially with Roderick Strong joining the company. Discussing his friend's health, Cole said, quote, "He's doing good, he's in good spirits, he's on the right track. There is nothing that Kyle wants to do more than come back to work, especially now that Roderick Strong is here and things like that. Again, he is one of the toughest guys I've ever met for sure. Everyone keep your fingers and toes crossed. Kyle's doing awesome. He's seeing great progress and hopefully we'll see him very, very soon." Of course, O'Reilly underwent neck fusion surgery in September 2022, and earlier this year noted he had been dealing with a post-surgical issue. He hasn't wrestled since facing Jon Moxley on the June 8, 2022 edition of AEW Dynamite, which of course is nearly 1 year ago. So hopefully, Kyle O'Reilly will be back soon. Now, lots of people are talking about big events that are coming later on this year, this summer in AEW, one of which, of course, is the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling crossover show, Forbidden Door. With AEW New Japan Forbidden Door 2 taking place on June 25th, a number of big stars have reportedly been ruled out of appearing. While no stars have been announced for the upcoming show, it's largely expected that Kenny Omega will defend his IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship against either Lance Archer or Will Ospreay. There are, however, some stars who are reportedly being ruled out of an appearance on the crossover show. Dave Meltzer addressed the situation on the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, writing, quote, "It looks like Andrade will be ready for the Collision debut since he booked himself in a match on June 15 in Mexico. It's an independent date, not with AAA or CMLL. His situation is interesting because last year, New Japan wouldn't let him on Forbidden Door because CMLL said he was a AAA wrestler, even though Kenny Omega actually is the former AAA World Champion, and he is headlining Triple Mania in a title match weeks after Forbidden Door, but he's fine not only to work Forbidden Door, but for New Japan in Japan. Lots of AEW guys have worked for AAA and have been champions there, like FTR and Sammy Guevara, but there is a list of AEW talent, which I believe would include Bandido, Vikingo, Roosh, Commander, Penta, Phoenix, Andrade, Dralistica, and probably others who aren't expected to be allowed on Forbidden Door due to New Japan's strong ties with CMLL. The rules are different if you are a Mexican, which again is very, very strange. Hopefully that can be resolved. If not, several top AEW stars look to be missing the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. This coming Sunday, of course, we have the Blackjack Battle Royale for the International Championship, and the full list of participants for the AEW Double or Nothing International Championship Battle Royale have now been revealed. On this week's Dynamite, Ricky Starks confirmed himself as an entrant in the match, and we now know the full lineup. The 21 men featured in the bout are, of course, the International Champion Orange Cassidy, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, Swerve Strickland, Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix, Kip Sabian, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Tony Nese, Ari Daivari, Big Bill, Lee Moriarty, Commander, Bandido, The Butcher, The Blade, Dustin Rhodes, Keith Lee, Juice Robinson, and Switchblade himself, Jay White. Who do you think is going to leave as the International Champion? And we have the ratings for this week's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS, the go-home show. Per Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Dynamite drew 846,000 viewers, which is up from the May 17 edition that drew 814,000 viewers. In the key 18 to 49 demographic, Wednesday's broadcast scored a 0.32 rating, which is also up from the week prior that scored a 0.28 rating. AEW ranked number 4 on cable in the demo for the night. Again, in comparison to this time last year, it is down, but in terms of recent numbers, it's up a little bit. What does this mean for coming into this Sunday at Double or Nothing? Not too much, but certainly many are looking at Double or Nothing as the beginning of a big summer for All Elite Wrestling. Now, speaking of this Sunday's pay-per-view, one title match could be in jeopardy. AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter was scheduled for a 6-woman tag team match teaming with Dr. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida against the Outcasts, Saraya, Toni Storm, and Ruby Soho this past week. Hayter ended up being unable to compete in the match, with it being changed to Baker and Shida taking on Soho and Storm. However, Hayter is still scheduled for the Double or Nothing event this Sunday, with her set to defend the AEW Women's World Championship against Toni Storm. Speaking on yesterday's Double or Nothing media call, Tony Khan confirmed that Hayter is indeed currently injured and that she was not cleared as of last week. Khan did not address the status of her match with Tony during the call, so maybe they're hoping they can clear it at the last second, or they've got a big angle planned, but that match certainly does look to be in jeopardy. Finally, Mercedes Moné, an update on her contract amid her recent injury that she suffered at Resurgence. A recent report has revealed the latest update on the status of Mercedes Moné's New Japan Pro Wrestling contract following the expiration of her original deal. Moné's original contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling expired on April 27, with a previous report stating that she was working on a per appearance basis. Dave Meltzer has now provided further details in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. According to Dave Meltzer, quote, Moné had agreed a longer-term deal with New Japan when her original deal expired on April 27. We were told that the New Japan Strong Championship and bout were created when she agreed to the longer-term deal, and both were created for her after she showed strong drawing power for the San Jose show, which sold out the Civic Auditorium. Moné recently wrestled at the New Japan Resurgence event on May 21 and would suffer an injury during her match with Willow Nightingale. New Japan confirmed that the injury was to her right ankle and she would be out of action while recovering. At the time, it was reported that there were concerns she had suffered a broken ankle. The match with Nightingale was to crown the inaugural New Japan Strong Women's Champion, with the injury leading to AEW and Ring of Honor star Willow Nightingale becoming the first holder of the new championship. So, as of right now, again, we still don't really know an update as to her injury, but she has reportedly agreed a longer-term contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. But there you go, guys. It's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.